Hello and welcome to a quick product run through of our new app CKM1. The idea behind the application is a mobile sales tool enabling people on the road to interface with their Opera data, run syncs, enter orders and send an order back to the office. In this demo I'm going to give a quick run through, just show the app off itself, how to install it onto the server. So by the end of this you should have a running knowledge how to take the app, set up the server software and get the two talking. Here we have a Windows Server 2016, it's a fresh install. So on this I'm just quickly going to run through how we install and set up the software. You'll get one file, CKM1.exe. This is just your installer for the software. So if we give that a run, pick in the defaults and just let it run through. That's it, installed. You'll find in the program files, you'll have a CKM1 folder now. This will contain the website for the server, bespoke for Opera, an OLE tool that we use for embedding images for the OLE to save users time to go into stock, add images one by one, and a configuration tool for the program. First step for the tool is, on the server you're going to need IIS, and if you've ever used any of the Opera web systems you've probably installed this at some point, but I'm going to give a very quick run through of how to get it up and how to get it going. On Windows Server you're going to want to pop into Server Manager. I've already installed this, I've already installed Opera, so it's just going to be a quick run through of where it is. Roles and features, let it finish inventorying. We're in. Right. It's a basic Windows wizard, role-based install. Pick your server, most of it will be defaults for most installations. And you want web server IIS. Now the key one that you want to make sure that you've got picked off from here is .NET extensibility. Pick the latest version. Anything else additional needed for PHP side of the application will be installed by the web platform installer. So here you just pick your options, click next, follow it through, let it install. It takes a bit of time to install, it's pre-setting up the system. Another thing you'll need is the web platform installer. Now you can just get this off the old Google web platform installer, and likely is it's going to be your first offering from Microsoft. So it's just follow it in, install the extension. It's only a small download. Go through the typical run next. We've already got it installed. So we'll just cancel out of that. But you just click and run that through. Once it's on, you'll be able to access it. The icon in the start menu sometimes bugs out with this program, but in the IIS, it'll have linked itself in to the web server down here. Now this will enable you to grab any additional technologies Microsoft offer. One of the ones that we're going to want is PHP. Similar to how this is already installed, I've already installed PHP, but just to show you where it is, you want to just, let's go back, web platform installer, products at the top, and just search for PHP. You'll want the latest build 717. Pick your x86 or 64, x86 will do. You'll get from a default install of IIS, just a default website setup, very basic. If we were to browse to it, it should just give us the IIS splash screen. That's how you know IIS is working. With that on, we ran our CKM1 already. Go to our folder, grab our website. In your www root in your inetpub folder, drop that in there. And you'll notice on the side here, If you give it a refresh, CKM1 web will appear. Right click on that, you want to convert it to an application. You can typically accept your defaults. Once that's on, you'll get this CKM1 web. Now there's two parts to the service. There's a PHP part and there's a ASP section. To build the PHP, you might find you want to install into different locations. You might have a web server separate from your Opera server, depending on network configuration. But inside CKM1 and program files, there's the CKMC config. All we need to do here, pick our PHP path, which is typically going to be our inetpub folder. www, okay. Site path, this is where we'll point it to the site that we just dragged in. We pick our CKMC web, okay. If you have the Opera installed on a separate server on the network, you'll probably want to point to a separate server name and a separate site path. You might have to consult networking for that. Typically, you just want to hit localhost and hit create. As soon as you hit that, if we go back into inetpub, www-root, now we'll find a batch of PHP files. These will have been created and set up for the system. So if we were to open one quickly in Notepad, you'd see pointing to localhost CKMC web, and that's the web service. This handles the interpretation from the app to the web server. Another thing that we'll need to do is set up some ODBC links. So for that, we want to go into our control panel, in administrative tools, ODBC data sources, 32-bit because of the Fox Pro system. Make sure you select system DSN, not user DSN, or you won't be able to access it. Go to add, and at the bottom here you'll have Visual Fox Pro driver. That'll just come off your basic Opera 3 or Opera 2 install. We want to there'll be two ODBC links that we need to create, one for the company data and one for the system data. We prefix the company data one with the letter of the company. So it'll be Z Opera 3. Copy that, drop it in description. I want to make sure it's on Visual Fox Pro database DBC. And then browse. And we want to go find our program data, Pegasus, Opera 3 data folder. Point that to our DBC for our company. And then we'll want to add the second one for the system folder. It's just called Opera 3 System. Same thing again, Opera 3 Server, System DBC. Okay, now we'll have our System DBC and our Company DBC. If you were to add multiple company letters, you just create a ODBC link for each company letter in the system. When you've got that in, the config tool's got a quick checker for the ODBC link just to make sure it's talking properly. So you just pick your company code that you want at the bottom, select check ODBC, and if you see your stran, that means you've got a working link. Now from here, in our inetpub www-root, we want to add in folder for images. This will be for any images that you want to attach to the stock system. So if we create an images folder in here, and because you're probably going to want your users to be setting up images, you're going to probably want to share that onto the network. So you'll just pick share. So this is a throwaway box. I'm just going to give everyone access. Now you have an images folder, and in here we want to put in any images that we want to see appear in the app. So I have a handful ready. Those in there, and the app will handle any image that Opera will handle. So you can feed it GIFs, JPEGs, bitmaps, whichever. Anything the ODBC link and Opera will handle, this will pull through. So now we have our website, we have some images in, we need to put our bespoke into Opera. So back into our CKM1 folder, bespoke folder, and that's the CKM1 bespoke for Opera. Just copy and paste that. Into our Opera bespoke folder. Now if we fire up Pegasus Opera, there are additional tables and edits to existing tables made with this, so you will want to run a UDS. But if the bespoke's loaded in OK in utilities, we should see CKM1 stock users and sales appear. So if I run a UDS on that, and we'll let that run. Right, then our UDS is done. As soon as it releases, there we go. Now in our utilities, we've got 3 sections: stock, users, and sales. First thing you want to do is set up a user account to have access. I've already got one set of data in here already. But in essence, you've got your Opera user account. The app has a separate user account and a separate password from your Opera system. You might find that you match them, same one for one, or you might find that some people prefer that if a salesman's on the road, he has a separate account to log into his app than he would have to his Opera. Here you can also choose which companies they've got access to and enable or disable the account. You hit save, it'll just ask if you want to update the users, and it'll do an update. Similarly, in stock, it's a breakdown of the stock in the system. Tick and untick as you require the stock to be enabled for the user. You might find that on a fresh setup, you might want to go behind the scenes and just tick everything. If we select just car mount, small and medium, you load the screen, we'll just have the car mats. So let's tick a few things. So stock updated. And it's a similar screen for the sales accounts. So here you'll just want to go in and enable whichever sales accounts you want to see added. Hop back into check. There's our added accounts. Now the final stage, if you go into Task Manager on the system, Services and Open Services, you'll find a Windows service has been added called Opera Interface. Down here, it'll default to just being manually enabled. For if you're testing or anything, you might want to set it, you might not want it to have it auto start. If you set it to start delayed, start the service. At this point, you should be good to go. Now we'll quickly get the IP address of this box. You might find if you're setting this up for external, you obviously want the external IP address for the network, and you'll want to set up any firewall forwarding rules for the IIS ports that you've configured. You can, I've just ran this as a default setup on port 80, but you can change it to your heart's discretion. Now if we hop to the tablet, it's an Android emulator just running it. Fire up CKM1. This will be what you'll get greeted with when you first install the app. So there's a default background login of root and root. If you have it set up for multi-company, you can just pick your processing company on the start screen, go to login. First login, you'll just see the settings button. First thing we need to do before using the system is activate it. You'll get a default of our external IP address for a demo system running here. So if you didn't want to go through the palaver of setting up an Opera system with it running, you could leave it at this, run a sync, and get a drop of Orion vehicles. You won't be able to log into the system on a remote desktop to see the orders that you've pushed back up, but you'll be able to pull the sync down, see some stock, see some images. Now, the first thing we want to do on this screen, we head into activation. We want to activate the system. Pick the modules that you want. If you're reactivating a system, reactivate. You'll typically demo. If you need a full license, you just have contact for a license key. Hit activate. That'll activate with a demo license. If we were to hop back in, see that expires at the end of the day. March 5th we set it for, so let's jump it forward a couple of months. June, reactivate, activate, details saved. Hop back in. Now we'll see activate with our expiry date at the top here. So if we change our IP address to the one that we had on the system we've just set up, save that, go back to our login screen. Now we'll see some extra buttons pop up. These are your sales screens, any orders that you've entered on the tablet but haven't yet submitted to the Opera system, and a stock screen. If we hop back into settings, we'll find we've now got full sync as enabled and popped up. You'll have a few more settings here as well. Down here you'll be able to do individual syncs, so if you just wanted to sync the invoices or sync the stock or change the sales codes or tax codes, you can do that down there. First thing we'll want to do is connect to our admin account. And click setup user, created local user, so that means it's talking to the system. That's our admin with our password. You'll want to put in your name, so we'll put in Griff. Email, and the account's email. When you submit an order into the system, it'll load it into Opera as a document, but if you've got email set up on the tablet, it'll also pop up to send a confirmation email, and it will pick the order contact out your Opera system. It'll obviously be in your sent items, but if you put an accounts email in here, it will always email accounts at wherever you've set it to. So typically here you'd want to put in your accounts department, whoever oversees or whoever's going to be responsible for checking for things that have come in. We just hit save, those will be in, and then we can hit sync. Top right here now, you'll see it processing. It'll just rip through and give you an update of where it's at. So as it's going through the stock codes, as it's going through any price lists on the system, those can be your Euro price lists or individual price lists, sales codes and tax codes. And a quick check, if you just want to check that it's done, you can just go list sales, and there's a bunch of sales accounts it will have pulled through for us. So now if we go into these screens that were empty before, now we'll see sales account created with basic information on it, company, the contact, email, you get the idea, order balance, current balance, turnover, and any price lists they might have. So here we've got E for Euro, French currency Euro. You'll also see if any of these are over the limit, top left, and if I've picked one to sync that is well over the limit, no, you'll see an on stop. Now that's an ideal time. If we hop back to our Opera system, let's find somebody who is on stop. If memory serves, it is someone near the bottom of the list. On stop, over credit, no. On stop, Top Car Motors on stop. So let's add them to our sync list. Top Car Motors. Dated. Back to our tablet. Do another sync. So you'll see it'll give you an indication of where it's through the process account. It goes through an alphabetical and numerical order. So now we should have Top Car Motors and registered as on stop. Now if we go back to good old Adam's Light, first of all, a series of buttons at the top of the screen. Refresh account will just refresh the account information that's displayed in front of you. So if we were to hop back again and hop into financials and say in fact his email address isn't that, it is my email address, save that. Now if we hop back to the app and refresh account, we'll get a quick pop-up, and in the background our email address is updated to the one we entered into the Opera system. Back on the main screen, we have our orders as well as our stock, and in here we'll see our test order. As you build up multiple orders on the system, you'll find, put a quick one in here. Back on the order screen, you'll get all the different account orders there. So that'll be every order that you've entered. And if you wanted to change something, you can just go edit order and hop back in and carry on, add another item and proceed. If you go there from the sales screen and go to new order, go no, you'll just see the orders for that one account. Or you can just go yes and be presented with a blank order. Add a couple of items to this quick. Now at this point the orders are just sat on the tablet. We haven't done anything with them. So it would be an idea if we could send them back to head office. Now if we hop back to our Opera system briefly, one thing that we need to do to receive orders, the system will save a text file with the order. So we want to create a folder. If we put one in the C drive called importer. And what we'll want to do is make sure that we've got access to it from the website and from the application that's running in the background. The easiest way to do that is to make sure the IIS user has got access to the site. And it will need full access to it because it's going to create and process documents in here. Back to our tablet and looking at our orders. We edit that order and let's send that order in and see if it goes. Order sent success. And you'll notice on the Opera system now, we'll have an archive folder created. In here is a copy of the CSVs that it's imported as well as the audit report. So we'll see here, one order imported. And if we were to open these with Notepad, we'll see a couple of car mats and our accessory. Back to the tablet. If you've got mail set up on the tablet, it'll pop up with your default mail account with the order contact email address and that account's email address that we entered. So then you'll be able to fire off a confirmation that the order's come through. There's a few features being added to that soon, the ability to do templating, but I'll show you that separately on an iPad that I've got streaming. It just the quality isn't great for running around and doing product demos. Now, one more thing to quickly run into. Back to Opera. I mentioned earlier images. In our www root folder, we created an images folder and put some images in there. If these images have got names that match product codes, you can use the OLE tool that we included to import the images. If we give that a whirl on here, put those back into our store. There anyway, let's replace them. So now our cache of images, so this might be your customer's company data folder, and then we've got an empty images folder here. Now we need to be out of Opera for this to happen because it has to do a bit of a tidy up on the OLE database file. So if we hop back to our installer, CKM1, you'll have the OLE program that we've included. Now, best practice for this is copy and paste it into a folder that doesn't have any spaces in the names. This was a quick build that we did. We're planning on integrating this into Opera as a choice. If you go into company, let's pick our company Z, our path to our company data, you can just browse it, path to our images. So where did we put those? They were probably in store images. and just hit run. At the bottom you'll get however many records were added, a little pop-up to say it's finished, close the app. Now back in our www root folder, inetpub, our images will have been copied in, and if we hop back into Opera, and now we should see them against the stock OLE. We have a quick look at the ones that we'd picked were, we've got CM044, CM044, OLE, that's our image in, right folder. Fine. So Karma, there's another one at a different angle, another one, and an iPhone, or a bunch of phones. Go for our medium. There's our medium import. And the other one was the Detron 16, if memory serves, 32. There's our image in that. So now, if we were to hop back to our tablet, at the moment, those stock items had nothing attached to them, because the images weren't there when we did the sync. We hop back and run another quick sync. You'll find the more and more that you add to the system, obviously the longer and longer the syncs take. The retrieving of data is pretty quick, but the bit that can slow down is the performance of the tablet itself. Now if we go into stock, there we go, our images. And similarly on our order screen, when you're putting an order in, you can hit view image there to see a quick image of it. Oh, where was it? 32 we did. 32. We are. And similarly, when you're creating a new order, you'll be able to hit view image there. Have a quick look at the image associated with the stock item. Now that we've pushed an account into the system, we would expect to see it in documents. Now that one's come through because we've just done the sync. So let's put a new order in. Let's have 6 of those. Test order. Let's have one of those. One of those. One of those. And send. Order sent through. If we hop back to our Opera, in fact, here first of all, just so you can see at the moment we've got the one document in there. We hop back to our Opera system, and in SOP for Adams, now we should see our another test order hop through. And back to our tablet, you always have the option of going into settings and doing a full sync, but for the sake of speed, effort, hopping in and out, you can just hit refresh orders. Up here you'll get an update of where it's going through. Go to documents, now we'll see our another test order. Similarly, if it was to get progressed to an order, we'd see it in orders. So let's do that quickly. Progress our document through. I'm logged in as admin, so we're going to get reporters on it. That's our order that we've just shipped across. Back to our tablet. Refresh orders. Orders. There's our another test order. So at that point we know the order's been progressed through. You'll see an order status on the orders. So I'm willing to bet these are all on order, but as they progress through the system, you might find orders staying things like delivery, whichever stage in Opera they're in. Right, another feature of the system is its ability to handle price lists. So if we go into special pricing and car, details. Let's add car mats to the special price list. And let's set them as £25. It'll also handle quantity breaks. So if you have a quantity of 10 and instead of £25, let's sell them for £2. We'll update our price list, yeah. And while we're here, let's have a look at the Euro price list. See what's on here. Car mat 44 at £25. So we know our default price from stock is £12 and our price list price for Euro is 25. So if we do a sync to take into account that first car price list where we added the car mat and the quantity break. Let's have a quick look at Alib, because we know they're on Euro price list. Car mat prices at £25. Right, I'll give you a quick line value whenever you update quantity values. Now let's find somebody who's using the car price list. These guys, Andersons. So we changed our price to 25, and we also set a quantity break at 10. So if we had 5 items, it'd still be 25. If we've got 1, it's 25. So if we go to 10, now it's £2. Similarly, give it a reference, send the order. Now, as a quick demo, it doesn't perform as well as the Android app, but it does work. So let's have a look at the iOS app. Now on the iOS app, similar process, only you won't be able to see where I'm clicking. You can log in as root and root. And it's similar sort of screen, just different resolution, and iOS has its, it prefers its 4:3 instead of its widescreen. Now in here, if we go in and create a new order, I'll show you quickly the email. 5 of those, test, add, send. Order success, and we'll get a pop-up with the whichever information that we've put in. So on this one, it's to me as the order contact, CC, a work address. As I have here my email address as the order contact, and the accounts contact as a work address. To close, that was the CKM1 mobile sales application for Android and iOS. I hope you found the video informative, if not boring, and I hope to see anybody's feedback and requests for product.